Oh dear lord, it's a new year already, viewers. The Christmas break has definitely not been nearly enough time for me to re-energize from 2020 Part 2, or as some of you humans called it, 2021. But hey, it's time to kickstart this new arbitrary collection of 365 days, even if it means pushing it off a cliff while it had barely enough time to put on a flippin' parachute. And what better way to do all that in Kickstart 2022 than entering ever deeper into the world of mechanical keyboards? Because there definitely isn't enough content on the topic on the internet already, not counting on the blog posts and the articles and the YouTube video. Oh, fuck off. So Keycaps, I am all but certain that we have at least briefly mentioned that you both need them to complete your keyboard build, as well as their different profiles will definitely change how you use your keyboard. Not too different from the TRN BT30, which is a $80 Bluetooth 5.2 pair of adapters that you can use to turn your wired IEMs into wireless ones, effectively giving any pair of probably awful sounding IEMs that you've got laying around the title of TWS, also known as True Wireless Stereo, and not True Wireless Earbuds as so many of you guys insist on saying it. Oh yes, differently from the KBeer S1 that we have looked in before times, which let you connect your IEMs to your music via Bluetooth, but still had a pesky annoying cable going from one ear to the other, usually across the back of your neck, or the front if you were a weirdo. The BT30 goes the extra weight on a barbell route by attaching batteries, controllers, and other technological shenanigans to your IEMs directly and having them dangle behind each of your ears, but this time, no wires involved. It works surprisingly well, with no latency or delay between whatever's playing on each of your ears and your source. Battery life is solid with about 6.5 hours of playtime plus another 14 hours worth of a charge in the case, with each charge taking about 1.5 to 2 hours to complete. The actual sound quality and the connection are both pretty good. That's definitely at least on par with basically everything else that we have in the TWS world nowadays, but considering the size of the buggers plus the footprint of the case, that's hardly surprising. The controls are literally all in one button, so you can play, you can pause, fiddle with Siri, answer calls, and then hang them back up again because it's obviously just another telemarketing pitch, but no volume controls. So if you were fantasizing about not needing to either use voice commands or to reach into your pockets to fiddle with the buttons on your phone, well, you are definitely shit out of luck. Construction is solid, and despite my humorless attempt to imply that these are heavy bits of plastic to hang over your ears, they're actually kinda light. Obviously heavier than basically any other traditional cable would have been, but we're here for the convenience, remember? Speaking of convenience though, being able to change the earpiece connectors on the adapters without needing to buy an entirely new set of adapters is pretty great, but the carry case with its hefty footprint feels like it should be able to carry both the adapters and your IEMs. But it can't, at least not with the IEMs still attached, which sort of kills some of the convenience factor and increases the chance of you actually dropping your stuff when you're opening the case. But you can also keep your IEMs in your pocket like loose change because, you know, that seems to work fine too. Still, pretty cool implementation, and it kinda does what it's supposed to, so what the hell am I complaining about, right? And speaking of cool, let's get back to keycaps, because with all the different shapes and sizes and colors, those little plastic bits are all that you need to make your own keyboard that very much more unique. Which is incidentally exactly how I feel about the AK61 from Skyloong. A $60 to $75 mechanical keyboard that from the outside looks tremendously boring and generic, but if life has taught me anything over the years, is to never judge a book by its cover, and I'm so pleased to say that I'm glad I didn't in this case after I read all the information in the box, obviously. Because you see, despite looking blended and appealing and sounding like what I assume sometime in the future will be considered an act of torture because of those damn blue switches, the AK61S not only has hot swap, which as convenience goes is way up there with being able to change your socks without needing to hack off a limb, but the switches in this weirdly lovable keyboard are optical, which in turn kind of almost defeats some of the purpose of having hot swap in the first place, since you most likely don't have a collection of optical switches lying around, considering how rare and sparsely used these things still are nowadays. But anyway, I digress. Optical switches in and of themselves are pretty dang unique, and have potentially enormously longer lifespans and greatly improved durability compared to normal ones, not to mention all the reliability in terms of registering and reciting keystrokes. Granted, these positives are most likely only going to sound like a really big thing to gamers who want the absolutely most reliable gear possible at all times, as to never miss that precisely timed key press in the middle of a death-defying Fortnite battle, but it's still all unique and pretty interesting tech nonetheless. As for the rest of the keyboard, well, it's basically fine. White metal plate, white plastic frame, 6-degree incline, may or may not have Bluetooth, detachable silver braided USB Type-C cable, factory lubed plate mounted stabilizers, and a black and white keycap set that's a mix of DSA and SA profiles. There's nothing else that's actually noteworthy to say about it really, aside from the fact that it works, and that Skyloong apparently didn't get the memo and didn't learn from everybody else's mistakes, putting RGB lighting in a board that doesn't have shine-through keycaps. Which, just like a perfect perfect truffle covered in oil with metal shavings makes things really hard to enjoy. The truffle and the RGB, I mean. And also, why does the non-Bluetooth version still comes with shortcuts for switching between paired devices? Do you guys enjoy taunting your customers over there, Skyloong? Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me, I just can't seem to stay on topic today. I was supposed to be talking about mechanical keyboard keycaps and profiles. I'll start again. The Modmic Wireless is the latest in the series of microphones by Antlion that aim to enable people with fancy-ass headphones to also have the convenience of head-mounted microphones, as well as not being ostracized by all their gaming headset-wearing friends. Yes, you will still totally have your own headphone cables to contend with, but at least you won't need to apply your non-existent cable management skills to even more cables dangling from your head while you're talking up your buddies while gaming, and let's be honest, that's all you're going to be doing with a mic like this anyway. But for both the sound quality and the convenience of the whole wireless thing, plus of course the construction and ease of use, the somewhat steep $140 price tag kinda almost makes sense. Now the trolls among you who want everybody to still be able to hear your loud blue switch outfitted keyboards in all their glory will be thrilled to know that Antlion apparently didn't bring all their brain cells to work that day when they were designing the Modmic Wireless, so they put in an omnidirectional mode. But thankfully they didn't completely screw things up and also put in a directional one so the rest of us more well-adjusted members of society can properly engage in conversation. The installation being ridiculously simple, with the included clasps already having 3M sticky tape pre-applied, almost like it's made with dummies in mind, and the whole thing being held up by pretty strong magnets makes it extremely easy and convenient to both position the microphone, move things about, as well as putting it all away when you're not using it. And speaking of using, one click and you're muted, the charge lasts for about 12 hours, so you're probably going to be okay for long gaming sessions, and when you're done, charging is as easy as plugging the cable in the correct orientation, which shouldn't pose too much of a challenge to you, right lads? Just make sure to have at least one USB port that doesn't really know how to make friends, because you need the extra space to the sides, as the dongle that comes with this thing is actually pretty wide. Or just use the included extension so that you can get the dongle closer and in line of sight with the Modmic, which is incidentally the way they suggest you set it all up to begin with. Shit, hang on, I got confused again. How long have I got left? What? 10 seconds? Oh fuck. Different keycap profiles can provide more comfortable typing experiences, materials and sizes will affect how they feel and sound, and colors are all the rage for you to be able to customize your keyboard in your own unique taste. And you can find basically anything you could possibly want at drop.com. Catch you guys in the next one.